How you doing? How you doing? I'm your handsome, slender host, Christopher Dylan Williams, and today we have a special guest, my mentor, Miss Tyra. Thank you for coming on today, Miss Tyra Jones. You are the CEO of AMEC. Welcome to the show. I'm very elated and blessed to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here, Chris. I sure appreciate you and your platform and anything, of course, anything that I could do to help you grow it and grow in any capacity. I'm here for you. So I'm excited about this interview.
So with AMEC, you're able to provide mentorship. You're able to provide educational opportunities for low-income students. Do you feel like when you were growing up with that, with in different situations in your life, that God put you in this position to help these underprivileged children?
Well, actually, we serve underserved
Mm-hmm.
uh, youth and young adults. And the difference between when we started out in 2010, we said that we were serving at-risk students because that's what the lingo was at that time. But the students that we serve are not necessarily poor; they're middle class, but because of the nature of the education system is more of an indoctrination as opposed to a true education, which is why you get out of school and you kind of learn that, okay, what's out here in the world is not really what I learned in school, because that was an indoctrination process. So we changed that verbiage to saying underserved, because even if you grow up in a middle class household like I did,
Yes, ma'am.
a lot of people would say, oh, well, you had a two-parent household, both of your parents went to college, both of your parents, stayed together, the whole time that you were growing up. So
Mm-hmm.
you're middle class, you should do better than, a student who is, parent is paycheck to paycheck or poor to poor. But that's not necessarily true with the indoctrination process going on in our educational system. So we like to say underserved, because all students across the country are underserved if they're not being provided the proper education that would advance them in their career or even lead them to their career. So just a little bit about my background. Like I said, I grew up in a two-parent household. My dad was an educator. My mom worked for AT&T. Back in the day, she used to actually work on the assembly lines making the phones that we no longer use, the rotary phones and
Yeah.
then the digital phones. So so over the years, I had exposure to different opportunities with organizations and things of that sort, but a lot of my classmates didn't. And then even as I grew up and I graduated from Southern University,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Best school in the world.
best school in the world,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
So and I acquired a job and I started my career. I started teaching. I majored in ag, but there was a transition there that I'll talk about a little bit later, where I went into education, and that's when I realized that my experience was very rich.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of the agriculture experiences that I had. We had a farm. We lived in the city, but we had a farm. I knew how to raise cattle. I knew how to, plant crop. I knew how to do a lot of things entrepreneurially as well as around the house. I cut the grass. I had to, mow the lawn. I had to fix fences. I had to learn how to put up a picket fence. And, I had to learn how to do a lot of things that most girls didn't know or wouldn't learn how to do, as well as my parents put me in debutante situations to where, and I was an athlete and things of that sort. A lot of students didn't get or don't get that opportunity to have all of those experiences. So what I decided to do in 2010 was really to meet the needs of the students. The first program we established was the Biz for Kids program back in 2010, because I believe that through financial literacy, which is always a topic that is lacking in our schools, we can learn, we can teach kids how to start businesses, the leadership aspect, the mindset
Yeah,
aspect about business, because that's really the true world outside of the indoctrination that most of us experience in school.
because I like what you said about that, Doc. You know, like kids learning ag, learning about business, entrepreneurship. AMEC is not just for mass communication, but it's for it's for high school, it's for college students. It also gives them an opportunity to um, learn how to be a mentor, learn how to hone their skills, and becoming the people that they want to be for the future. So I remember, like with me, I was always, in summer enrichment camps, programs. Um, I would never imagine that I'll be doing sports broadcasting. I'll tell you, like you gave me, and I thank God for you, Doc, because you gave me. You didn't have to do it. You gave me an opportunity, a chance, just to be the AMEC ambassador for Southern University, one of them. So I just want to give you your flowers right there. So yeah.
My pleasure. My pleasure. It's my pleasure. I always like working with the willing. I was just talking to Crystal, and you met her via email, one of our
Yes, ma'am.
program coaches. She's also a part of our business development team. I was talking to her today, and I was like, I like working with the willing, not necessarily with, all. I believe all students need the experience that a true ambassador program would give them, but I work with the willing. And Chris, I'm gonna tell you, you are a very willing ambassador in that you have, I mean, you have checked me on some tasks that needed to be done just by simply reaching out. It's like, oh, if Chris reached out to me, I'm answering the phone. If Chris texts me, I'm gonna text him back, so I appreciate your tenacity and your get up and go ness that you have in terms of, satisfying the ambassador role with AMEC.
Because also, I feel, like when you have a purpose, when you have a calling in your life, you have to answer that call.
Yeah,
And when a lot of people give you opportunities and blessings, you know,
yeah,
you have to see that opportunity.
yeah.
Like me doing a lot of different things around campus and camera work for Southern Lab and Sydney's on the clock and different things like that. They all combine to where I'm doing with AMEC right now. Like your program provided me not just an opportunity to be myself, but to have a sense of time management, have a sense of decorum during interviews, being the person that I need to be,
Yeah.
not just um, what I need to be, but also, professionally, how
Right.
to go into the workplace, demand my attention from people,
Right.
and to make a name for myself. This is what ABC provided me to do.
Oh wow, that's amazing. That's amazing, and it's encouraging. It's
Yep.
encouraging for us to not only to continue what we're doing, but to even do even more. Because a lot of times these programs, when I learn about them through either my kids or my kids' friends or things of that sort,
Yes,
I
ma'am.
see the lackadaisicalness in the program where they could just tweak it a little bit just to make it more relevant. And that's what we want to do. We always want to make it more relevant. And students like yourself who truly take advantage of what we're offering at no cost,
Yes,
but
ma'am.
at no cost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I appreciate you, and we all appreciate your work.
Yes, ma'am. I'm very um, I'm very touched. Just you
Yeah.
give me the opportunity and believing in me, and like Chris, you got it. You just need a little more tweaks, but you got it. You got the voice. It just takes somebody to believe in you. You know, and I feel like that's the
It truly.
most important thing that you have to have. You have to have help. You can't just sit there and my parents tell me all the time to help,
Yeah.
ask for help. The
Yeah.
moments when I didn't ask for help, my grades suffered. But when I asked for help, I was all right.
Yeah.
So it's important not just um, with this program, but it's important for anybody watching there. Ask for help. It's so simple.
Yeah,
It's simple.
it truly is. And a lot of times we're wanting you to ask.
Yeah.
So like I kid you not, every week I want more students to ask us for stuff because we have way more, because the assumption is that, they don't really need us. When you don't ask questions, the assumption is you're okay. Just like in
Yeah.
class, the assumption is you got it, you understand the
Yep.
lesson, you don't
Yep.
need help, as opposed to quietly suffering. Like I was that student
Yep.
in
Me
grade
too.
school. I would quietly suffer and then be like, oh, I don't know why
Yep.
but
Yep.
realizing that, okay, Tyra, you need to start speaking up. You speak up for anything else. You
Yep.
you'll get into a fight outside, but you won't
Yep.
speak in science class.
No. And that will hurt you. I just because I didn't used to be like a social person back in the day. I guess I'm not saying back in the day. It's crazy,
Back in the day.
but 'cause I mean, but when I was in grade school, I was um, a quiet. Oh, my homie just said, okay. My homie just said hello from high school. But
Wow, wonderful.
yeah, but anyways, my I didn't ask for help, and I was always so quiet in class. 'Cause I was embarrassed to ask for help. But when my parents, because I have a learning disability, so it's like um, I never asked for help. I didn't write my assignments down, and that hurt my grade, you know. And my teacher was like, "We give you all the help. We trying to help you, but then you so permissive about, oh, I got it, I got it." But in my mind, I did not get it. I did not get it. But
Right.
it's when you ask for help, that's a burden lifting off of you,
It is.
and you're able to actually hone your skills and actually stay focused on the task at hand.
Yeah.
Not saying it's going to be easy because it takes a village,
It
but
does.
it always, when you ask for help, there's always growth. There's always
Yeah.
understanding that somebody is there to help you.
Yeah. That's
A
it.
lot of people don't have that.
Nope.
They
Mm-mm.
don't have a father figure or a mother or a dad to tell them, okay, ask for help. Sometimes they have to do it by themselves, you
Yeah.
know. But your program provides students with a voice, provides them, okay, you want to be a finance, for example, hypothetical. You want to be a finance major. You want to be a Fortune 500. You have the tools for finance. You have the tools for agriculture. You have the tools for if you want to be a sports coach, sports analyst, whatever.
Yeah.
Y'all have the tools for that.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of us, even as we don't take the opportunity that's given at hand.
That's right.
It's like God giving you the blessing right there, and then it's like this can pass me up and go to somebody else.
Yeah.
Now, there have been times where there's some things that pass you by, they're not meant for you, and
Right.
that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But there's some things that are meant for you, and if it's staring you back in your face, that's for you. Take that
Yeah.
opportunity that God has given you, because you
That's
never
right.
know what people are there that need your help. You don't know where those people are going to be at.
That's right. That's right.
Everybody is tied to your purpose.
Everybody.
Everybody is tied. It's like a book, right? Another opportunity, a door closes, God opens another door. So
Yeah.
it's like that.
Yeah. And it's the same in business. No business, I don't care how small the business is,
Yeah,
no business is ever successful with one person contributing. There has to be a tribe of people behind the scenes that are
that's fun.
supporting that. and your life is bigger than any business. So if a business can't function without a tribe behind the scenes
Nope.
pushing the sales or pushing whatever, or establishing the financial structure or the corporate structure or whatever, your
Yes, ma'am.
life is bigger than a business. So of course you need several pockets of tribes.
Yes,
you know
ma'am.
I've always had mentors,
Yep.
and when I learned about how to segment my mentors, I had a mentor for different segments of my life that I needed support in. So yeah, and then we have the programs to support that for high school, college students, and students of all ages. Yeah.
Where do you see? So you started in 2010. Where do
Yeah.
you see is now the year of our Lord 2025? Where do you see the where do you see AMEC in the future? And do you see it, I guess, surpassing going to global,
Yep.
God willing?
Mhm. Well, we're actually, as of this year, we're actually international with our
Okay.
programs.
Yes, ma'am.
We've been working on an international component to our ag venture program for the last 2 years. We announced our adventure and international ambassador about a month or two ago. You saw that on our LinkedIn.
Yes, ma'am.
So technically, we're international right now. Now, where I see AMEC on the level of Disney,
Yes, ma'am.
but with a more fundamental educational component that truly gives to communities to restore, revitalize,
Mm.
and and renovate,
Mm-hmm.
different communities. So it's not so much of a entertainment aspect like Disney, but it's more of a community development aspect. But it will have that entertainment because we've already secured some. We have mascots for every program. We'll be rolling that out once we complete all of our trademarking and everything. And so, with where we are in 2025, we're just making sure that we hit different pockets of the community and let everybody know what we're doing. We have our annual event coming up in March, the
Yep.
Defying Gravity
Yep.
Empowerment Conference,
Yep.
which you are an ambassador for. So
Yes, ma'am.
we're excited about that. And that's really going to be a catalyst to literally bridge a lot of the opportunities that we have, not only for students, but also for business owners, for community members, and professionals.
Yes, ma'am.
So we're bringing in some tech companies. We're bringing in some other professionals that are going to speak in different sessions. So where I see AMEC, it really for 2025, our goal is to hit different pockets of different communities in at least 3 different states. We're already doing it in 2 states. We've been doing it in 2 states for the last 2 years, but I would say in the next 3 years, our
Yes, ma'am.
international program should look like the in-state program. So we'll see what happens, but we have a 3-year goal that we've outlined within our board of directors, and our expectation is to be massive. So
Yes, ma'am. I remember when you just said, you hit it on the nail down. You said restore and revitalize our communities.
yep,
We need that because a
yeah,
lot of times in our communities, when I turn on the news, it breaks my heart
yeah,
because
it's
a
stressful.
lot of a lot of kids, you see the struggle, you see the
Yeah,
drugs, you see the one parent household, and it's hard. And it's hard seeing kids with bad influences in their lives. Every time I see the news, I want it to be positive,
yeah,
but life's not like that.
right.
But when you said restore and revitalize, that really hit me in my soul. It really hit me. I was just like, restore, revitalize. But it takes a village. We have
It
to
does.
stop hating. We have to stop being jealous of other people's success.
That's
If
it.
we want to come together as a community, we have to have a common goal. We have to have a purpose and a goal. Look at 1921, Black Wall Street.
Yeah.
Before the terrible situation happened, we
Right.
were thriving. We were doing things. We were working together.
Right.
Why can't we have this in 2025? Why can't we have this in the future? Why
Right.
can't we put the guns down? Why can't we have more love?
Exactly. I
It's
believe what we have to do now is we're dealing with a different mentality of the black person, the black individual,
mm,
the person who's called a black person.
mm,
Get me?
yep,
In this country, uh,
yep,
has a different mentality,
yep,
right? The
does.
mentality that our ancestors had when Wall Street was established is not the mentality that our people have today in the United States. So what we
No,
have to do, we have to deal with who we are now, and it's just like a classroom. When you have a
yep,
classroom full of students, and they all have different needs.
yep,
You can't treat this class the same as you treat the other class. Like if
no,
I started teaching in 97. I can't teach the same way in 97 as I taught in 2015.
nope,
It's a totally different, we didn't even have cell phones back then.
no.
So it's a total different
Total
person.
different eras. Totally
Yeah.
different eras.
Yeah, so we have to realize the psychology behind who we are as a people today in order to establish rather a quote unquote Wall Street, platform. Now we do have several Wall Street platforms throughout the country. We have a
Yeah.
lot of different people who have, I've worked with some of them,
Mm,
but we have to understand that we're not the same people that we
no,
were back when Wall Street was established. But every individual can create their own Wall Street.
yeah.
All it takes is you look at the number of times that the money was cycling through the community.
Mm-hmm.
You just make sure in your own community, you make sure that money cycles through the hands of your community at least that many times, at least 10 times through the community. If your money cycles at least 10 times within your community before it goes out to any other, including the bank system,
Yes, ma'am.
then you create your own Wall Street.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that we have to realize who we are as a people first before
Mm-hmm.
thinking about how that needs to look, and
Okay.
then realize that we can create our own Wall Street within our own community.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ooh, my
Alex
sneeze.
is acting up.
Yes, ma'am. But I also feel, that is like, they have like during the pandemic, they were talking about wholesaling, you know, wholesaling, real estate, um, lawn businesses. There's a lot of things that we can build as a community that is our own.
Yep.
No offense to other people, but our own um,
Ecosystem.
ecosystem. Look at people like Akon, the rapper. He's building something
Mm-hmm.
in Africa
Mm-hmm.
for our people.
I saw
So
that.
it's like if he can do it,
Yeah.
why can't we do it here in the States?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But it takes a village. It takes teamwork.
It does.
One man cannot be higher than another man. It has to be equal.
It does.
It has to work for the forefront.
It does.
If one man is jealous, it's not going to work out. Because his jealousy is going to feed his ego, and then this person is going to have another ego. It's going to ruin the whole thing. It has to be a village for everybody to work together. That is why, as I'm coming back, you got to ask for help. It doesn't make you any less than yourself. It doesn't. You don't have to be all hard. If you need help, you need help. If you're going through mental health problems, you need help.
Yeah.
You know, I go back to my sister. You know, she how can I put it? She's my best friend. So,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
but what I see in her, she asks for help. No
Mm,
matter what struggle she's going through, she asks for help. That's not, it's not ifs, ands, or buts. You need that in your life. You need people that have the same goal in mind, that want to see you succeed, that want to see you prove yourself or prove the doubters wrong and become the person that God created you to be. That's the purpose. It's what
that's it.
it's what glorifies God. It's what brings others to Christ.
It truly does. It
You're
truly
using your
does.
platform to help
Yeah.
children
Yeah.
and students
Yeah.
to have a voice, to have a dream.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
a
Absolutely.
dream is endless. You can write it down on paper, but if you don't take action with that, somebody else is going to take the opportunity.
That's right.
They are at the end of the day. What is your motivation, even during the times that you have been a teacher and
Mm.
now you're CEO of AMEC? What has been the greatest joy being a teacher?
Okay. Well, when I left the teaching
Mm,
industry, when I left my classroom,
mm,
I remember this. I didn't tell my students that I wasn't coming back because so
mm,
students act up. And at the time, I think I was teaching elementary, fifth grade. I think I was
mm.
teaching fifth grade at the time. And they kept asking, they was like, "But why? Why?" I was like, "Look," and I never forget what I told them because this is still true today. I said, "I can help you more by leaving than by staying."
Yep, yep. Amen
Because
to that.
yes, because I knew what I had already done in
Yep,
2010. I didn't leave
yep,
the classroom until 2015.
yep.
So I knew that I can help them, there's the student in general,
Yep.
more by leaving, by establishing all the programs that we need to establish, by writing the curriculum, because I write curriculum.
Mm,
I wrote most of the programs. My brother came up with some of the programs. He does all of our graphics, most of our graphics, and I'm the executor. I just push stuff out there. And so that was a defining moment
mm,
when I left education. But in where I am right now, what drives me, what keeps me going, is the fact that I'm not finished. You know,
mm, mm,
uh, I'm truly operating within my God given purpose. That's number one. That's the number
mm.
one thing that keeps me going and keeps me pushing.
Keeps you
But
grounded.
it keeps me grounded as well because I ask for advice from God all the time.
Yes,
Most of the
ma'am.
time, I'm doing something and it looks weird
Mm,
because that's what God told me to do.
yep.
Now, like I said before, I'm not finished. Cause
No, ma'am.
whenever you start a business, you have the visionary, you have people who execute. I'm both.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm the visionary as well as my brother.
Yep.
But I do more executing than he does. But I'm like, look, we need this and this and this, and I need you to do da da da, and then we do it. And sometimes it'll be we stayed up over the years. We stayed up all night putting
Whew.
things together because I'm a writer and he's a
Yes,
graphic
ma'am.
artist. So I write curriculum, I write programs, I write business plans. I wrote a business plan that sold for over $10 million. I didn't even know my own gift at that time.
Yes,
So when
ma'am.
I realized, I said, okay, I know I could do a lot more for the community. If I could do that for
Yep.
one client, I can do even more. So I'm not finished, other than the fact that I'm on my God given purpose. I'm just passionate because I know I'm not finished yet because of the vision that God has given me.
Yes, ma'am. Because I'll say the same thing. There is, even with my mom. She taught. I don't know. My mom taught like when she was a kid. She was like 22 years old.
Hmm.
But 22, she taught at Red Oaks Elementary, which changed into BRZVPA, where I went to for
Okay.
my whole matriculation.
Okay.
And I just realized, I'm glad to get my mom as a teacher, but that's either here nor there. But during that time, my mom, that season was up,
Yeah.
and she had them. She she did all she did all she could do in elementary school, being an elementary school teacher.
Right.
So God had to elevate her. Now she's chief director of teachers. I think that's what it is. But it's a high ranking in the school system over the
Okay.
teachers.
Mhm.
So basically, during that time, God had to shut that door in your life in order for you to do AMEC, in order for you to start writing, in order for you to make these curriculums for the students, provide programs for the students. So during those moments, a shut door is a blessing because there's some things
Yeah.
that are for a season. You may not like it at the minute, but when God has to remove people out your life, He places the right people in. That's a part of your purpose. That's not a it's not always a good thing, but it's necessary. You know.
Man. And I have a story for that one too. That is so true because God made sure I wasn't comfortable teaching.
No,
He
no.
made sure I was not comfortable. And I started noticing, I taught for 16 years in the school system. And then I also taught part time at the community college. I taught entrepreneurship at the community college. That
Mm,
was great. Community college was totally different. Totally different. I'm teaching adults, and even some of the students in my class were older than I was. But in the K through 12 setting,
mm,
I never forget. Her name is Miss Lopez. She was my principal
mm.
at Clark Elementary in Houston, Texas.
Oh wow.
And she called me to the office and she said, what are your goals?
Mm,
Now, I had just acquired my MBA
mm,
and I had just decided to go straight into my doctorate at the University of Phoenix because University of Phoenix is online
mm,
and it was more accommodating for my work schedule.
mm,
I had to get approval from my administrator, principal, to have my residency because when you start your doctorate program, they send you on the residency.
yes,
And so
ma'am.
they were sending me to Virginia. So I had to get approval so that's how she found out that I was going into my doctorate. So red flag, a teacher is
Yep.
going to her doctorate.
Yep.
That only means one thing, that she wants to be a principal. So she calls me into her office and she asked me, what do you want to do? I said, what do you mean? What do I want to do? And she said, do you want to be an administrator? I said, I'm already an administrator. I had already started AMEC.
Oh wow.
So AMEC I was already building it
Mm-hmm.
while I was in school. So so I answered her question by saying, I'm already administrator. She said, what do you mean? I said, I'm not understanding what the question is.
Mm.
So the conversation didn't go well. She put me on the short list to get me out of there because she thought I was coming for her job. But
Well.
but in actuality, I was preparing for AMEC. I told
Mm,
myself this. Like I said, I majored in ag when I was in school. I wanted to be a veterinarian to help
mm,
my family's farm.
yes,
And I
ma'am.
said when I decided to go into education, I told myself whatever career that I gave the most years in, I was going to go back to school to get my doctorate in that particular
Mm-hmm.
career. So then I decided to go and get my doctorate in education leadership.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
I wanted to teach online because I wanted to develop these courses to be online because that was the future back in 2015, right?
Yeah. That's when
So
it started,
it
really.
still is, right? And we're here.
Yes, ma'am.
So So I majored in a specialty education technology. So my major was education and leadership with a specialty in education technology. That's what I was giving the credit to my work, but the doctorate was for AMEC.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's what I got in trouble. Like I said, I got put on the short list and I got kicked out of the school at the end of the year. They didn't want me back, and she had support. There was some other individuals who didn't want me there because they thought I wanted to be a
Uh-uh.
principal. But all in all, I noticed in my career, I never stayed at one school longer than 3 years. I
Mm.
never stayed at one school. I always had to, get up and move to
Yep.
another school. I never stayed longer than 3 years. And to me, that was God saying, I'm not going to let you be comfortable because this
Yep.
is what I purpose you to do.
Yep. Because I'll say this, there's moments when God will make you uncomfortable, and when you're in a place where it becomes toxic, and you should have left there in year 5, and you're there for 17 years, there's something wrong. Because
Right.
if he's calling you to be in the pulpit and you still dealing with these toxic teachers, you gotta remove those people out your life or get out of that situation. Or if
Yeah.
God tells you, okay, you gotta go to Texas, you gotta leave your family, you gotta do missionary work over there, you gotta go. That's just tied to your purpose. Your family's purpose is not your purpose. It's not. Now, it may be coincidence where your mom's a nurse, you might become a nurse, but if that's in God's will for you. But there's some things that God removes that's not in His will. It's continuation of your life. You have to elevate. You can't just stay somewhere and be like, okay, I'm gonna stay there for 20 years, but this job not meant for me. I don't like it here. Why am I here? I don't find joy. I don't have purpose in this area of my life.
Right.
But God been told you to go.
Right.
So it's like
Yeah.
you save yourself a lot of heartbreak and a lot of mess ups in your life if you just go forward, listen to God, and go forward to what purpose He has for you. You know,
Yes.
everybody's different. Everybody has a calling in their life. Some people may not have found a calling that. It may take a couple years. You never know. But with your purpose, it wasn't a veterinarian, but it was helping others in education. You were still in agriculture. You made an agriculture program with AMEC.
I did.
So at the end of the day, God just elevated you, but you're still working under the program that you love, that you brought your major in. You just expanded it for other children.
Yeah.
So that's a part of your purpose. This is your book now.
Yeah.
you know?
Right.
So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. And I was 16 years old and I was standing in the field and it was that time of the year where we had to deworm all the cows and the horses. Cause at that time we had horses. We don't have horses now.
Yes, ma'am.
My dad sold them all because he said we won't come back home and ride them. So he sold them. So I told my dad, I said, I think I want to be a vet. So I said, I need to be the vet so I could just shoot up everybody in the field and we don't have to put them on the trailer. Taking forever to get everybody on the trailer. And we only had one long trailer. So we take everybody to the on the trailer, take them all the way to the vet. That takes a while. And then we come back and then we have to get the next
Yep.
load. So that was my thinking. But all in all, my goal was to help the farm.
Yep.
I'm literally doing that on the financial side
Yep.
of securing funding, like our barn got blown down after I forgot what hurricane that came through Shreveport. But I know now where to go get the funding for that.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
And then we need seeds. Okay, let me see what we can do to get some grant funds for seeds. And then I start sending interns to the farm. Hey,
Yep.
that need help because we not there anymore. I'm 53 years old. I'm not, I'm
Yes,
not
ma'am.
going to be there every day,
Yes, ma'am.
but we send interns now. So yeah, all in what I said that I wanted to do, I'm literally still doing it, but in the capacity that God purposed me to do it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause a lot of times, like even be with media, doing podcasts. I've been doing podcasts in my room since I was 18 years old. So
Oh,
it's you know this might be the most that I have done in communications or during my whole tenure at Southern University. So you provided me an opportunity. You know, I'm about to do an interview about Bob Butterbean Love, in the coming months. So this provided me purpose, but it also, when I realized what purpose is, it was glorify God. And when something distracts you from God, that's not your purpose. Because if it's your purpose, it'll be easy in your hands like putty.
yeah.
The
Yeah.
people are already aligned there. When
Yeah.
it's not your purpose, it's rushing. It feels like you're confused. But
Yeah.
when you let go and let God, and He gives it to you, you're like, oh man. So I've been working this job for 10 years, not happy, but now I have purpose.
Yeah.
Now I'm telling other people about God. Now I'm happy.
Yeah.
Now I'm making pretty good money. So it's kind of like the blessings that we think, oh, I missed that blessing. That wasn't meant for you. That's all.
It wasn't.
You just got
Yeah.
to realize, okay, God got something better. But
Yeah.
the more that you stay with or you keep what is not meant for you, you are going to miss that blessing.
Yeah.
And it's going to go to another person.
Yeah.
Because sometimes God gives us a blessing, but then we fumble it because we don't take care of it.
Yes. Yes.
So,
Yeah.
so when He takes things away, He either brings it back or it's just not meant to be.
Right.
But you have to have the peace and understanding that, okay, God got something bigger for me.
Right.
It's kind of like I go from a picture, like this little girl had a teddy bear. God, I love this thing. But then God has this big, giant teddy bear, and it's beautiful. But we always look at the little satisfaction at first.
Right.
But it's not always going to be like that. See, in
Mm-hmm.
life, to success, you got to have failures. You got to have hills to climb. If it's easy, it's not really. You don't really. That's not really a purpose. It doesn't really tell a story. You got
Mm-mm.
to go through something in this life. It's for our purpose.
Right.
Now,
And there's no lessons. Yeah.
no, it's no lessons. And if it's
Mm-hmm.
everything easy, sometimes it's not even a blessing from God. It's not.
Yep.
So tread
Yeah.
lightly.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
we're gonna have a couple more interviews now because a lot of these interviews, I'm gonna tell you, this is one of the best interviews I had because it kind of just had me thinking. You know, I'm a 23-year-old man. I'm young still, but you kind of have a purpose. You know, I mean, at 23, you're still trying to figure out. You starting to be an adult. You start having responsibilities, but you're trying to find your purpose in this world too.
Right.
I'm not gonna say it's easy, Doc. It's not. It's not because it's
No.
like you're trying all these things, and then you realize, oh, they're not working out. Oh, I missed this opportunity. No, you didn't. God blocked it. you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so so what I
Yeah.
realized is you never really you never really know what your purpose is until you let those things go, those
Yeah.
people go, those things, and you let God do His work. That's
Yeah.
when He sends you His purpose. You
Right.
know. so
Yeah. And I want to say this about what AMEC is doing as far as expanding our resources.
Mm.
Um,
That was one of my questions.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we have so many resources. A lot of times you have more than what you realize you have in
Yes,
terms
ma'am.
of resources, because resources could be knowledge of how to do something. Uh, we
Mm.
we have our R3 program, which is the restoration, revitalization, and renovation of our communities, and we've already started that in Houston, where when I think the tornado, I can't remember what the name of the tornado was.
Yes, ma'am. It was. I think it was a
And
flood as well. Um,
yes, the
yeah.
flood came after the tornado. It was just horrific. But it knocked down a number of fences. So what we've been doing through that program is going around to different residences and helping them fix their fence, because a
Yes,
lot of
ma'am.
people can't fix their fence because they can't afford it. So we're doing that work. We're trying to get that those impact numbers, so that we can go after some disaster funds, and then we're going to be bringing those funds to different communities. We have a senior citizen um,
Mm.
part of that program, where we help a lot of
Yep.
senior citizens with their revitalization of their residents. But even for students, even at the Defying Gravity event, we have the grant writing session. We have a new session that's a procurement session, where we're going to be talking about how we're going into different universities and
Mm.
teaching students how to go after contracts, whether that's city contracts, corporate contracts, and things of that sort, because this is more of an entrepreneurial
Yep.
environment. And I've always told students to look at your resume a little bit differently, rather than going after a job. Position yourself as a freelancer to do exactly what you want to do for somebody else. Do it
Yep.
for yourself, and then you attract more attention that way. So we're going to be teaching in a few sessions
Mm.
about procurement training, what procurement is, how to get contracts, and how to manage contracts. We have students who have potential of getting, $100,000 contract, and it doesn't take much to service that contract.
Mm.
So and each contract is like one client. So imagine one client is paying Chris $100,000, and all you have to
Oh, wow.
do is digitally manage it.
That's
So
some
that's
good money.
you know, it's a whole different. So so those are some things that we already know how to do. We're partnered with some other individuals who are going to be coming to the Define Gravity event to present that session. So we have more resources than we realize. So we're expanding all of those, starting with that event. So if you're a student at Southern University, and you're in agriculture, you get in free.
Yep.
You're a student at Southern University or any other university, and you're not an ag student, it's only $20 to go to get to the event.
Yes, ma'am. But
Yeah.
also as well, as you know, I am a AMEC ambassador.
Yes.
Um, one of the lead ambassadors for Defying Gravity will be March 22nd. Yes,
Yep. Mhm.
at the FG Clark Activity Center. Um, that is the mini dome for Southern University basketball, and
The
you can go.
location is to be announced, because they changed the
Okay,
location.
okay,
It was never at the mini dome. It was going to be
okay,
at the Heritage Center,
okay.
but that's to be announced, because I literally was talking to the ag department today.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
the
Okay.
location is to be announced, but just know that if anybody registers, you'll still be in the neighborhood. You'll be at Southern. We just have to figure out what building we're going to be at on campus.
Yes, ma'am. But this interview has broadened my horizons, not just for my purpose, as because with this, you know, these I remember a time where I was interviewing Preach from All American, the hit TV show on the CW.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And I was about 18, 19 years old. You know, just being a kid, you so excited. I was excited. But what I realized is, even going into the workplace, wherever you are, guys, I'm talking to people in the chat. Wherever program, career that you go in, be prepared. Be prepared, because during that interview, I was kind of put on the spot, and I needed to be. Now, being a kid, I didn't know why he said it until now, but all my interviews that I've done, Doc, I've been prepared. I've been, I
Mm-hmm.
got my notes down. I study my notes. I
Yeah.
articulate well. I give a synopsis of the individual that I'm interviewing or the program that I'm interviewing. So I always, even during that moment, that always stuck with me. He was like, "Do your research." It wasn't going from hate; it was going from love. Because at the end of the
It
day,
was.
I realized my potential. There's also, guys, with any job that you do, not just schoolwork, it's time management. It's what you put in. The more
Mm-hmm.
time that you invest into something, your craft, your work, or if you invest into something, it's going to fester.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
when you continuously do that, you don't just miss out opportunities. You miss out on maybe getting a good grade in your class because you're on TikTok all the time. And then you have to sign up for a resume or an internship. And then now your parents are telling you, okay, you graduated now where's the job? You invested your whole time doing all these things on Southern's campus.
Yeah.
But you chose to do what you wanted to do.
Right.
Nobody stopped you. God gives us free will. Your parents
Right.
didn't stop you from doing it. You did this on your own. So whenever you
Yeah.
do a podcast, interview, a job, be prepared. You gotta be prepared, because you never
Yes.
know who's watching you. You never know what opportunity that you're gonna get, and then also treat people the right way, because you don't know what blessing, what opportunity that person can be your boss one day. I
Yeah.
always treat people. It may be a different ideology than me that I might not agree with.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you should always show respect to people, no matter what connotation, gender, whatever they are. Because you
Mm-hmm.
never know, that might be your first job. That
That's
might be the person that's going to take you to Hollywood, to
right.
be a performer, to be a singer. You never want to miss those opportunities by being unprepared or being mean to other people. You always got to show
That's right.
kindness, love. You know, this is part one of the interview. This is part one,
Right.
because this is many more other interviews to come,
Right.
and you know, this this allowed me. I just thank you for allowing me in the space of your life and actually displaying what AMEC is, but
Yeah.
also providing students a sense of motivation. Okay, this is a black woman. This is a successful black woman. She's achieving something that's never been done. She's been a teacher. She's a CEO of her own company. If you can do it, I can do it. So,
Yes, you can.
for
Yes, you
more
can.
information, go to amecprograms.com. And
Or
Doc, thank you for coming on to the show. This is part one of the interview, Doc. We're gonna do another one.
I know. And you mentioned about Bob Love, something
Yes,
you were.
ma'am.
I don't know if I mentioned this, but my dad played with Bob Love at
Yes,
Southern.
ma'am. Okay, so the Audrey Williams, as you know, he was the Lord have mercy. He was the chancellor of agriculture for Southern for about 15, 16 years. I think it's from 2001 to 2016, 2015.
Right
So,
after I. Right.
I think during that time, he was he probably was getting his master's. That was during the '70s, early '70s. He got his master's. Well, it was his
Well, let me
master's.
see.
It was
He
his
didn't
master.
play sports.
It was his
Okay.
master's or his doctorate from LSU.
Okay.
Um, I think it was in public administration, but it was
Okay.
tied to agriculture. But a lot of times, with my grandfather, all my family are I'm part of Southern,
Mm.
and I knew that when I got to Southern, I'm gonna make my mark. I'm gonna do something big. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
as you can see, I was on the jumbotron doing the Southern game, doing a
Yes.
sports show that I did not know had 1 million people in Louisiana watching, and then my
Exactly.
church members telling me, "Chris, you are on TV." Or well, around church they call me brother. They're like, "Brother, you on TV?" I was like,
Yes.
"Really?" but it's what Southern has. What I'm gonna miss about Southern is the sense of community. It's the people
I'm telling you.
who want to see you succeed.
Exactly.
I don't think no shade to my PWI brothers and sisters, but if I didn't go to the HBCU, I don't think I would have the same one-on-one connection that I have at Southern. I
You're right.
wouldn't,
You're right. You're right.
because at the same time I'll be seen as a minority, and
Mm-hmm.
but seeing people that look like me and they're striving for a purpose, they're striving, there are lawyers going to law school, there
Yeah.
are in nursing school.
Yeah.
Like Southern's number one in nursing at HBCU.
Exactly.
So
That it is.
I wanted to be different. I could have gone to Southeastern. I had a scholarship at Southeastern, but I was like, let me be different.
Right.
Let me stay different. Let me make an impact.
Uh-oh.
Let me make an impact on. Let me make my mark. That's what I told myself 5 years ago. Let me
Yeah.
make my mark at Southern. Southern is the place to be. It's close to home. I got family. I live 15 minutes away. It's nothing like it. I'm at peace with Southern.
Yes. Yes. And
Like
I
it's
asked the question because if you want to give your interview, your show that you're going to do on Bob Love. I know he just recently passed.
yes, ma'am.
My dad and Bob Love were still close. That whole group, the team
Yes,
that Bob
ma'am.
Love played on at Southern, when all of them were at Southern, they all still communicate.
Oh wow.
So Bob Love was, still in communication. We literally was trying to help Bob Love get some Southern attire so that he could. It was for some event that Southern had with the
Mhm.
athletic department.
Yes, ma'am.
Saying that to say, he can give you some insight as to some different stories. So I'm just offering you that if you wanted that content. My dad and Bob Love was still talking
Yes,
until it was the end. So we have that connection with that family, and God rest his soul.
yes,
And
ma'am.
we all gonna miss him.
Yes,
So,
ma'am. Because
so
a lot of times, I wasn't I wasn't born with Brother Being Love. I don't think I was mentioned, but when you, even as a trailblazer, I remember Butterbean Love, um, going into like Avery Johnson, that was in like
yeah,
1986 to
yeah, that was my
1990.
yeah.
Like he had the stadium, Butterbean Love and Avery Johnson had the FG Clark Center packed.
I'm telling you,
But nowadays, it's just,
yeah.
I feel like in a sports perspective, it's not it's not like that no more. You know,
Oh
it's
wow.
not.
Okay. Yeah.
It's not that moment. You don't have to be LeBron James, but what Avery Johnson did and Butterbean Love did, they put and then coach I forgot his name. He won in 1993 versus um, the Yellow Jackets of Georgia Tech. That was first round NCAA tournament. He put Southern on the
Oh,
map by beating Georgia Tech in
okay.
'93. So
Okay.
um, look at what's his name, coach for the baseball team. You know, he
Uh,
put Southern on the map. Rick,
Pete Richardson.
where's that?
Pete Richardson.
No, not Pete. No, wait. Pete Richardson did put
He
Southern on
was
the map.
out. I
He
mean, they
did.
let him go, but
He did. But the baseball coach, I forgot his name. But anyways, Ricky Weeks, he was the Golden Glove winner. That was the Heisman of college baseball for
yeah,
Southern University, a
yeah.
little HBCU 1AA school.
Come on.
So, and then they have Elias Williams, Mel Blunt, you know, that was part of the Steel Curtain. So you have all these Southern greats that are tied, that Butterbean Love paved the way for. That's a cool thing. That when you come from
Yeah,
a little HBCU, okay, you may not have the resources, but you have the talent. You can find talent anywhere.
yeah. You can find the
Just,
talent,
just
and most of the time, the talent coming from the country because all
yeah,
those guys came from unknown country towns,
yep,
and yeah, yeah.
yep.
That's
And then
exciting.
you see them dominate, and then it's
Yes,
like, whoa, it doesn't it doesn't matter. Well, I realize if there are any athletes out there, it don't matter what place you go from. It can be UAPB, Alabama A&M. You know, it doesn't
yeah.
matter what place, West Alabama, PWI. It don't
Right.
matter. They're gonna find you
That's right.
because a lot of times, a lot of leagues are the not for done, well, not for long leagues. So
Mhm.
when another person goes down, God forbid, but that gives another person another opportunity. You know,
Yeah, it
it
does.
just takes
It
that one
does.
person. My phone keeps falling, but it just takes that one person that has the that that gives you the opportunity, the chance. That's all you
That's it.
need is an opportunity,
Right.
and you
Right.
give students an opportunity.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of opportunities you cannot tread lightly with the opportunities that you give them,
You
because
can
that could have easily gone to somebody else. But
easily.
when you gave me and you saw something in me, okay, this kid this kid has this kid has potential, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and you saw that in me, and you gave me this opportunity. But I
Yeah.
told you I wanted to be a radio host, a radio personality.
Yeah.
But it takes trial and error to get there. It takes faith to get there.
Exactly.
It takes
Right.
removing people out your life to get there.
Mm.
so
Right.
so everything has a purpose, you know.
Right.
And
Yeah.
this, Doc, is your purpose, you know.
It truly is. It
But
truly is. And another thing and I'm gonna end it here.
yeah.
Another, another thing that caught my attention about you is the fact that when I look at what all you have going on, and I
Yes,
look at
ma'am.
where you are right now in the in the in the moment of your development.
Yes, ma'am.
When I looked at all of that, I'm like, ooh, we could really help him. That was also an attraction because if when I'm looking at what you say you need,
Yes, ma'am.
so I think I either asked you that in the interview or I either asked you that in a form or
Yeah,
something.
that was
But
yeah.
interview, yeah. So and when I heard that, I was like, oh, I can help him with that. Oh yeah. And then I looked at, I said, let me see what your platform looked like. we can help you with this. We can help you with that. We have a graphic artist. He can recreate it, this
Yep.
for you.
Yep.
All of that, I'm like, oh, I can really. So that's also the attraction, because when I look at people like yourself, students like yourself, or even students in other majors, and
Yes,
I
ma'am.
know that we can help. That's when I'm really like, okay, we can really help if you willing.
Yes, ma'am.
So yeah, we have a student at PV. She has a group that they're developing some type of tech,
Oh,
and
wow.
she was going to go into get her MBA because she needed to understand the business structure in order
Uh-huh.
to establish the business for their group. I said, no, go ahead and major in what you want to major in.
Yep.
Take out a young entrepreneur class and learn about business structure in our young entrepreneur online class. So
Yep.
when I know that I can help, that's my
Yep.
attraction, and then
Yes, ma'am.
of course I saw the potential of what you're doing and how passionate you are, because you
Yes,
definitely got to
ma'am.
be passionate. So I'm gonna just end it there and let everything. So we're gonna continue on part two. I'm excited about what you're doing and where you're going, and I'm even more excited about helping you to get there.
Yes, ma'am. Well, Doc, this was a treat. You allowed me to give an understanding what AMEC provides. Provides mentorship,
Yeah.
provides a child a opportunity and a student to know what they want to do in life, but find their purpose. But
Fine.
also not just finding a purpose, but how to be successful in their purpose.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Just
But
things.
this interview was a treat, and I know you're a busy lady, and I know I got homework to do. but part two, everyone, is coming up. This is Chris Williams, your host. God bless. Have a good one. Peace.